Direct from Foxborough, Massachusetts, the gem of Norfolk County, and taped at the studios of Foxborough Cable Access. It's Foxborough Central, and here's your host, Bob Hickey.
Welcome to another great edition of Foxborough Central. I'm Bob Hickey, your host. Thank you for taking a little bit of time to sit with me and my guests as we explore the events and people that make Foxborough the gem of Norfolk County. It's great of you to join me today. It's one of those days where we're going to talk about a feel-good thing. I've got a host, I'm the host. I've got a guest with me, Michelle Swain, who is with Good Deeds Seed here in Foxborough. How do you do, Michelle?
I'm good,
Nice
thanks.
to talk to you. Nice
Thanks
to meet you.
Thanks for having me.
So, Good Deeds Seed here in Foxborough. It is a new business.
Brand new.
And is brand new, and the sound of it is Good Deeds Seed. It has to be something positive, it has to be something different. I can't just go to the store and buy a Good Deeds Seed. I'm assuming that's not what we're about.
That's true.
So what are we about?
Good Deeds Seed is sort of along the lines of Pay It Forward. If you ever saw the movie Pay It Forward, I think it came out in the 90s with Helen Hunt. It was a great movie, had a very, very tragic ending. But Good Deeds Seed is sort of based on that whole Pay It Forward concept. So in essence, it's a good deed chain that someone can start, and there's an actual product that goes along with it. They can start this good deed chain on our website, and they go out, they do a good deed for someone, and they can track their chain. They can find out basically what happened along the way. They can track it on a map, and it's a lot of fun. It's very interactive, very engaging.
So good deeds are, and I don't think we have to go terribly much into what a good deed is, but it is an interesting concept in that what you're doing is you're creating something of a reward, and I guess it's a social network for good people doing good deeds.
That's true.
Okay, so
yes.
it's a social thing, it's an online. You say put it on a map, I'm assuming I'm not just plopping a map up in my bedroom and sticking pins in it.
Right.
It's an online map.
It's a tangible product that's linked to a virtual good deed chain. So basically how this works is someone gets a kit. I call this a Good Deed Seed kit. And the kit comes with 6 wristbands.
Okay.
And it also comes with an instruction card. And this keychain to keep it all together.
Okay.
So someone orders this kit and they go online to start their good deed chain. They register, and on each wristband there's a special code. And that special code links each wristband in this good deed chain.
Okay.
So someone goes online, they register, they enter this special code, they start their good deed chain, they answer a couple of questions like their city and state of location or their country, depending on where they live. And they answer what inspired them to start this good deed chain, what they want others in the chain to know. And they click submit. It's a very easy process. They keep one wristband. They go out into the community and they do a good deed for someone they know, someone they don't know. It doesn't matter. And they keep one wristband. They pass the rest along to the person they do the good deed for.
Okay.
So this whole keychain sort of travels from person to person. And sort of the beauty of this is that you can do a good deed for someone anonymously if you want. And you can just leave this for them. And it's sort of a very self-explanatory kit. So they pick it up, they read the instruction card, they go online, and they continue the good deed chain. They write about what you did for them.
Okay.
And they answer a couple of basically the same questions: their city and state of location, what good deed was done for you, what do you want others in this chain to know. And they go out and they do a good deed for someone. They keep one wristband, they pass the keychain to the next person. And it keeps traveling like this from person to person until the chain is complete.
Okay.
And each person in the chain can see if it started in Massachusetts and traveled to Alaska. They can read about each good deed that happened along the way. And there's a whole social component to it as well. So you can post comments on somebody's chain. You can send somebody a thank you note. If a good deed was done for you anonymously and you never had a chance to meet that person, you can send them a thank you note online just one time. And let them know how much you appreciated it.
Wow. Foxborough has a long history of community volunteerism, community service, so this seems like a great way of not only promoting that, and of course this is bigger than Foxborough, but this is Foxborough Cable Access, and here we are.
Sure.
But it's also a great way to encourage others to do good deeds, the
Right.
pay it forward concept. You know,
Sure.
back in the 80s we had warm fuzzies, and
Right.
you know, there's just a way to formally recognize somebody's good work, and
Right.
thank you and appreciation. So
Right.
that's a pretty sharp idea. And how did you come up with this concept?
Well, I first started thinking a lot about it after I saw the movie Pay It Forward, and that must have been, close to 10 years ago now at this point. I watched the movie and it just really affected me.
It resonated, eh?
I loved it. I loved the whole concept of random acts of kindness, and it really stirred some passion in me, and I thought, there's got to be a way to do something, to create something that would allow people to track a random act of kindness and to see how many lives it impacted. And because when somebody does a random act of kindness, it's great in the moment, but then you never know if they pay it forward.
Sure.
So I really started thinking a lot about it, and at the time I had a job where I just had a lot of time to think, and I would drive around and
You work for the state? No, I'm just kidding. I'm sorry.
No, I didn't, but I drove around, and I was in transportation. I'll leave it at that. And I drove around a lot and just listened to the radio, and I started thinking about ways to create this. So I did that for years, and eventually I sort of came to this idea and sat on it for a long time. I didn't do anything about it for years. It was just such a big project, I didn't know where to begin. It was kind of overwhelming.
Because there's a
Yeah.
lot that goes into this. There's production work, and this
Right.
is a very professional looking product, if you don't mind my saying. It
Thank you.
looks beautiful, and it's obviously ready to go. And as I'm looking at this, it's contained. You've even and I will admit that I'm not. I still don't know what to do with this little symbol, but you've definitely put a lot of work into thinking about the options, and it's current. So, I'm Bob Hickey. I don't know much about computers and all that stuff, but I want to get involved. What do I do? How do I get this? This is great. How do I get it?
It's pretty simple. You're just going to go to the website and click on...
The website is www.gooddeedseed.com.
That's right.
It's a .com. Good Deed Seed, no spaces.
That's right.
G-O-O-D.
G-O-O-D.
D-E-E-D.
D-E-E-D.
S-E-E-D.
That's right.
.com.
Yes.
Excellent.
Yes. And
So I'm there.
so you're on the website.
I'm on the website.
You're going to click on Get Kit,
Okay.
and it's very easy. You just click Order Now, and you can order right online. Everything is through PayPal. It's all secure.
Okay.
So all your credit card information is all safe and secure through PayPal.
Okay.
And we'll ship the kit out to you immediately. You should receive it within the week, really within
Really?
a couple of days, depending on where you're located.
So then I click Get Kit. I have my kit. I get it. I now have one. I do something good. I pass it on.
Yes.
They do something good.
Yes.
They pass it on. They
Yes.
do something good.
Yes.
And ideally what happens is, as these people do something good, they recognize that this is a great social networking opportunity, a great
Right.
way to see others and sort of build upon itself.
Right.
And then they too would perhaps get a kit
Right.
or a couple kits.
And therein lies what I call the wow factor. The wow factor is basically if you started a chain, Bob, and you did a good deed for me, and I passed it on and did a good deed for somebody else, and I said, wow, this is really cool, I want to start my own chain. If I start my own chain, it automatically links up to your chain. So
really?
you and everybody else in our chain gets to follow my chain as well. And if somebody from my chain starts their own chain, that automatically connects. So your chain can branch off just infinitely, and your one good deed can turn into thousands potentially.
Sounds like an Amway for good stuff.
Right.
as opposed to
I'm hoping.
Just doing something and there not being any connectivity. It shows from one step to the next how there's a telephone commercial on now that shows something similar. So that's a really cool concept.
Thank you.
I like it. I like it a lot. So with this, then, it's also, I'm sitting here thinking, it also sounds like a great gift idea. The holidays coming up. This is,
right.
And depending upon what you're watching this, the holidays will always be coming up. So don't have any fear of that. But it seems like something that would be fun to, say at a sports team, give to my players. Right. If I had coworkers or people that I work with at the office, give to them.
Right.
So it seems like there's a lot of opportunity here to have a really positive and yet not terribly expensive gift to be able to give, and it's a great idea as opposed to typically lottery tickets, which go nowhere.
Right.
Well, it helps the state, of course, which is why buy lottery tickets, we get better roads, I guess. But this really has the power, the ability to have the power to impact people, because
right.
with the positive deeds and with the positive actions and then linking it and seeing the downstream effects, that's kind of cool.
Thank you.
Particularly the thank yous that you can type in, because we all
right.
know good things that we've all done, and everybody watching at home, we've all done good things, mm-hmm. but where do you see that go from there?
Right.
So
right.
This is a really sharp concept.
Thank you. Well, I think the beauty of it is that you don't write about the good deed that you did.
Right.
The person that received the good deed writes about what you did for them. And that to me is sort of a big thank you in and of itself, because you get to experience your good deed from that person's perspective. Mm-hmm. And I just think that that's kind of cool.
Well, it certainly is a different kind of business, and it's one that I think is a pretty sharp idea. So, I'm sure that more goes into this, and having gotten to know you a little bit right. from talking to you before we did the program, you live here in Foxborough,
right?
And you're with your son.
Yes.
And
yes.
he is how old?
He's 3. He turned 3 the end of July.
And part of what goes on with him is sort of leads into positive.
How this got started.
Yes.
Yes.
So, want to touch on that for us?
Sure. So as I said, I sat on this.
Because you're the original good deed. You're the mother good deed, and we'll all work our way down
right,
from there. So.
Right. I guess that's a good way to look at it. I'm the original recipient of a good deed,
okay.
I should say. So I sat on this idea for many years and never did anything with it. It sort of was always in the back of my head, and I thought eventually I'll figure out a way to get this started, and I'll get around to it. And life sort of took over, and got busy. So I was brought back to the basics after my son was born. He was diagnosed with an arachnoid cyst in his brain. And basically, to make a long story short, it was critical. They weren't sure if he was going to survive, mm-hmm. and if he did survive, what his long-term prognosis was going to be. It was a very, very hard time. When he was 6 months old, he went in for brain surgery at Boston Children's. And not only did he survive the surgery, but he survived in the hospital for a month. And the doctors and nurses there were just amazing. Mm-hmm. If it hadn't been for them, he wouldn't be alive today. And it was just an incredible, life-changing experience on all levels. When he woke up from his surgery, it was then that I decided to start Good Deed Seed. I felt it was so important. I felt so grateful that he was alive. And I needed to pass that on. I needed to find a way to express that gratitude. And saying thank you at the time just wasn't enough. Mm-hmm. So that's really how this got started. He spent about a month in Children's. I brought him home, and he thrived. He's amazing. He's been in a lot of therapy, physical and occupational and speech therapy, and it's just been this never-ending gift of people, sort of this team of amazing, talented people helping him. And so I brought him home going back. We settled in for a few months, and that's when I started undertaking this project. While he was napping, when he went to bed at night, I would create it little by little.
Wow.
And 2 years later, it's finally finished.
Wow.
So.
Well, it sounds like a project that has a lot of feeling behind it.
It does.
Any parent who has had a child ill or in trouble or at risk can certainly empathize. And all too often we take for granted the gift that is life and the
So true.
and the joys that every day brings. And it's nice to be able to have the opportunity outside of a Disney movie to really take a step back
Right.
and look at what's going on and say, wow, how precious is this gift?
Right.
And how lucky am I? And it sounds like you've put it into action. You've taken these feelings, this experience, this opportunity, and put it into
Right.
something to pay it forward is a great way of putting it. But really, it's a little bit more than that. Even it's to recognize that these are every little action, every little thing that we do positive can have an impact. It can have
Absolutely.
And you mentioned Children's Hospital. They're doctors and nurses. They get paid to be there, so it's their job, right?
You know what? They go
We all
above
have
and
jobs.
beyond, right?
But that's just their job, right?
It's so much more than that. They don't have to be there. They choose to be there, and they are dealing with such tragic situations every day, and they always have a smile on their face, and they're always positive, and they're amazing. I feel such profound gratitude. I can't even describe it, and this is really the only way I could express it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think when you go through something like that as a parent, when you have a child who's in that situation, and you're not sure if they're going to survive.
Right.
It's terrifying, but it also, if you let it, I think it can become a gift, because it simplifies life and it makes you feel grateful for the little things that you may have taken for granted before. And I think you sort of either choose to look at it that way, or you can just be lost in the grief and the misery, and
Sure.
It's definitely at that point a choice.
Well, it's a very healthy outlook too, because too often it's easy to get caught up with the event and not keep your eye on the bigger picture. Go, wow, I've gone through this, and why me? And
Right.
and how could this happen to me?
Right.
But things happen, bad things happen, but good things happen also.
Sure.
And it's just the thread of life, and it goes forward whether we want it to or not, and
Right.
things are going to happen. And so often you've heard, here in Foxborough, we have fundraisers, you have events. The Hockomock YMCA just had a nice story done with a very positive human interest story that was done on the father and son runners. We've got a very special scout here in town who has recently been featured on local and state news and for progenitor's disease. And we have a long history of rallying around accident victims, cancer victims, and so other communities, I'm sure, are just as thoughtful and supportive. But here in Foxborough, it's something that really hits home when you have a sick child, or you have a tragic event, an accident, or something that happens that really brings the community together.
Right.
Just a few weeks ago, this is 2012, so depending upon when you're watching this, but the community rallied together around Hurricane Sandy relief.
Right.
And a decade ago, it was around earthquake relief in in California. So the Foxborough does reach out and does think more than just within our borders. And
So
I
true.
think that's what the story of Good Deed Seed is. You had mentioned earlier about from Foxborough to Alaska, and I don't think you're kidding, because I think as I'm talking to you, I'm getting the idea that the intent is that at some point you're going to have a huge network of good deeds
Right.
that are
right.
going to link back to the original good deed,
Yes.
if you will.
Yes.
And that'll be a huge social opportunity, a huge way to show that good deeds happen every
Right.
day and people are recognized. And
Right.
not only that, but good deeds continue to flow outward.
Right.
Like a spider web. It's going to
Exactly.
continue going out, or ripples in a pond. And this will be a way to connect back. So do you
Yes.
envision there being 10 years from now good deed reunions, or
That would be really interesting. I think, the potential here is just limitless. And that's what really excites me, is that I hope to inspire people to wake up in the morning and think just a little bit differently. Maybe they wake up in the morning and they look over and they see this on their nightstand and they say, wow, what can I do for somebody today? And I mean, how often do we wake up and we think, wow, what can I do for someone today? And I really hope that this inspires people and prompts people to think in a different way. But I hope that this grows to such an extent that almost everyone has one or has been touched by a good deed seed. I think that would be amazing. And to see, every chain is published online. So you can select to have it, to keep it private, but my hope is that everybody will publish this online. And of course it's under their username, so their real name doesn't have to be displayed. But on the website there's a link that says Browse Chains. So you click on that and you can see a whole list of chains, pages and pages. And my hope is that eventually that will grow into millions of good deeds. Sure. And I just think that would be really amazing to see, both big and small.
That would be. I've logged onto the site. I'm on www.gooddeedseed.com, and I'm browsing around. I buy a product. I keep one for myself, and that way I can, using the code that's on here, and every code is unique, I'm assuming.
Yes.
I use my unique code, and I put in what my good deed was, and then I can track what happened to the other 5.
Actually, you don't write about your good deed. So you answer a couple of questions. What inspired you to start this good deed chain? What do you want others in this chain to know?
Okay.
You list your city and state of location, and then the person that you do the good deed for writes about what was done for them.
Okay.
So, and I felt like that was a really important component of this, because I didn't want people to feel funny sort of bragging about what they did.
Sure.
So that's, I don't know, I felt like that was a really important
So it's a direct way of
piece.
saying thank you then.
Exactly.
That is a key piece of any volunteer opportunity, is seeing the results. And here in Foxborough, of course, there's many civic groups that do good work. The Knights of Columbus, Rotary, the Foxborough JCs, and I'm pleased by omission. I'm not dissing anybody, but those are the 3 that pop at the top of my head right off. But when you do these good works, it's a project. It's a community event. Knights of Columbus, over the holidays and in the summer, they have their blood drives, and that's very important. But you don't really see where the blood goes, where the donation has an effect. The JCs do many good things, but at the end of the day, it's a project, and as a group, they do so many projects that sometimes it's easy to lose track of the really good things that happen. This seems like a great way not only to do the good work, to encourage doing good work. Looking at the nightstand in the morning and seeing, reminding yourself to, that visual cue, if you will, to go out and do something positive. But then to have somebody else write about it, there's that feedback. And so that has to be positive, because in life, we all get rewarded for whatever we do, whatever it is that we do. We go to work, we get rewarded with a paycheck. You do a good deed, you get rewarded with recognition. And we all go in, whoever does volunteer work, nobody goes into volunteer work for the glory, I'm sure. But at the same time, it's nice to know that what you've done had an impact. And this is a great way of demonstrating there's a positive impact. So that's a really nice concept outside of the business and this. And it's just, it's a real positive. I like it.
Thank you.
I like it a lot.
Well, what I see for this is that there's no age limit. This is a great teaching tool for kids.
Sure.
I know my son is a little young for this now, but he's approaching an age where I'll be able to sit down and sort of show him how this works and teach him how his one kind act can have an impact on multiple lives.
Sure.
And I think that is just a great way to show kids that they can make a difference in the world.
It's never too early. And Girl Scouts and Boy Scouts and the National Honor Society and all the clubs and schools, They also do a lot of great work and try to instill that sense of community. And so this looks like it's a added piece to that whole story of why it's important to give back and to be a volunteer. It's a great story. It's a great business. It's a great opportunity to do something positive. For holidays, it's a great gift, or individually, it's a great way to get things started for anybody who's interested in making a difference, jumping on the Good Deed Seed bandwagon. It is www.gooddeedseed.com. Now, if they want to call you, they can call you at 1-855-654-7333, and you'll give them more information.
Yes, they can feel free to call me anytime. It's 1-855-654-SEED.
Ah.
Yes.
And it's a business line, so they're not
Yes.
calling your home.
No,
Okay,
this
so
is true.
this is a legitimate.
Yes.
Good Deed Seed is a product, and it's something where the business is volunteerism and volunteerism recognition.
Yes.
And paying it forward. So the social aspect of it is on the website. Are you on Facebook? Are you on Twitter?
We're on
That sort of
Facebook
thing?
and Twitter. And the other thing that I
So
want
we can friend you.
Yes, absolutely.
I don't know how to friend anybody, but we could friend you.
Yes.
All right.
The other thing I wanted to mention is that each Good Deed Seed kit is assembled by a group of adults with developmental challenges.
Okay.
And Good Deed Seed pays them for their time and work on these.
So Good Deed Seed is truly a good deed company.
We're walking the talk.
All right. Michelle, it's been great having you out here. I
Thank
really
you.
appreciate you taking the time to share this
Thank you,
opportunity,
Bob.
to share a little bit about your family, and to really reinforce volunteerism and why volunteerism is so important, and how Good Deed Seed can support volunteerism and make people feel good about it. I'm going to leave you, folks at home, today, not my traditional goodbye, but we have a short video. And this video is really a quick...
It's an animation
Yeah?
of how Good Deed Seed works. It's
Okay.
really cute and engaging and somewhat funny, and it takes everybody through this whole process.
Excellent. Well, on that note, thank you for taking the time to join us. On behalf of the Foxborough Cable Access volunteers, I've got Lauren Bitar in the booth, Deb Storrs, Betty Travers. Thank you so much for taking time. If you want to link into us at www.fcatv.org to see past episodes of Foxborough Central or any of the other great programming we have on cable access, please do so. Stop by our studios at 28 Central Street or call us at 508-543-4757 if you would like a copy of this program or have any suggestions for future programs. I'm Bob Hickey, I'm your host. Thank you for joining us. Good Deed Seed. Take a look at this video. Have a great day, Foxborough.
Welcome to GoodDeedSeed.com, the world's leading good deed social network. Our goal here is simple: to make the world a better place by giving you a window into the future of your one good deed. Have you ever wondered what happens when you do a good deed for someone? Do they pass it on to someone else? How many lives are touched by just one kind act? That's where we come in. Here's how it works. First, register and create your profile. Get your Good Deed Seed Kit to start your chain. You'll have 6 wristbands to begin your good deed chain. Do a good deed and put a smile on someone's face. Keep one wristband and give the rest to the person you did the good deed for. They will write about what you did for them, so there's no need to toot your own horn. No explanation is needed because a detailed instruction card is attached to the kit. This allows you to do a good deed for someone anonymously if you wish. Track your chain on the map to see where it travels. Read about the good deeds that happen along the way. Invite members of your chain to chat and share ideas. Watch your chain grow as one good deed leads to another. Infinite chains can branch off from yours. There's truly no limit to how large your chain can grow. Customize your chain with videos from YouTube or Vimeo. Post and read comments on your chain. Keep your profile private or share it with other members. Publish your chain to Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, anywhere you'd like. Most importantly, your one good deed can inspire thousands, and you can follow all of them. Together, we can make the world a better place. Have fun doing your part, and we'll have fun doing ours.